Different types of memory. I actually found this online. I don't know who to give props to. I like it. I've used it in a lot of my classes, but I have no idea where it came from. So it looks at short-term memory, long-term memory, and then it breaks it down between the different types of memory. I just think that's cool. Short-term memory, which is really closely related to working memory, and it came up in my class. How do you know the difference between immediate memory and working memory? And the fact is that there's a lot of different definitions of working memory and immediate memory that are out there. So kind of whatever works for you. But sensory memory is a memory that stays with us for milliseconds. So haptic, touch, iconic, visual, and econic, auditory. This is a memory that we don't really measure as evaluators. This is just very, very immediate. Short-term memory is also known as working memory or immediate memory. So all three of these terms can be used interchangeably. And you can also think of working memory as having an element of processing to it. So for instance, arithmetic on the Weiss and Wisk subtest has a working memory aspect and a processing piece to it. It stays in our brains for 20 to 30 seconds, and everyone knows the 7 plus or minus 2 for it to get into long-term storage. In order to store something, though, we need to be able to have attention, which I don't really talk too much about here. If someone doesn't have a good attention span or good attention skills, they're not going to be able to get this information into long-term memory, which is why people with attention deficit disorder have a lot of problems with forgetfulness. So that's the reason why, because the attention piece, you have to have the attention piece to have the memory piece. All of these tests have a digit span type of assessment that look at working memory and immediate memory. On the mental status exam, MMSE, that sort of thing, you have things like the serial sevens. So these are measures of assessing short-term working memory. The process, information comes in. It goes into your sensory memory very fast. And either it's not attended to and it's gone, or you do pay attention to it and it gets into your working memory. And then you forget it because it's not all that important, like half of the things that we've talked about today. Or you've really paid attention, you've rehearsed it, you've gone over and over again. Maybe during lunch you talked to someone else about it, and that helped you encode it so that in a week when you're talking to your colleagues and you're trying to impress them with big words, you can retrieve it. Or you know what, if you don't use it, you lose it, and there it goes. Test of attention. Oh, I was going to talk about attention. Serial sevens is actually also a test of attention because you have to be using your working memory. You also have to be attending to what you're saying. The Wisk and the Weiss tests of attention can be found in arithmetic, digit span, letter number sequencing. The Arbans and the Dempsey are tests that we're going to be talking about in a month. Those also have aspects of tests of attention, and there are many other tests of attention that are specific to ADHD, kind of like the continuous performance test and some of those. So they really draw upon your ability for attention. So a little bit about long-term memory. Long-term memory is the area that we have many different types of memory. Explicit or declarative versus implicit. The explicit requires intentional recollection. So this is broken down into episodic memory, which is memory for events, memory for experiences that we had in life. And the way to test this is with collateral information. That's really the only way to test this. Because if they say, oh yeah, my wife and I went for our 20th anniversary to Chicago and it was great, you can't take that for face value, nor can you test that. But you can call wife and find out, hey, where'd you go for your 20th? And she's like, nothing, we never went anywhere. Okay, well, maybe his episodic memory is affected. Also, semantic propositional memory is memory for facts and concepts and skills, not necessarily specific to time and date. So this is another test that you can get collateral information for, especially if it's memory for facts. And it might just be the facts of the day. Or you can also test for this. And this is found a lot in your VCI. Verbal comprehension, old school knowledge, vocabulary information, that sort of thing. Implicit requires prompting, procedural, actions, skills, operational.